Hi, what do you need for great product market strategy? I'll answer that for you in 8 basic steps. To form your product market strategy, ask 6 questions. What problem are you trying to solve? Who most has it? What will you solve to answer that problem or to solve it? How mature is the market when they buy that product or service? What's your profit strategy and how are you trying to position your brand? I'll explain why in the video, but there's 2 more steps you need to take. Build, price and articulate a stunningly good solution to solve that problem the way the market wants to buy it. That's why the market maturity strategy, and consistent with your profit strategy and positioning strategy. Second, build and execute a cracking set of tactics to take it to market. Let's dive in. I want to show you a few articles that we found and then expand on all of that strategy recommendation, those 8 steps if you like. Let's do that now. Let me show you a few of the articles that I found when we were researching and then explain why each of those 8 steps is important and why the order of those steps is really important as well. Okay, our first article from the West Australian Government, boring definitions and no really useful insight, so we're going to skip that altogether. Nothing there for you. Marketing strategies and tactics at the Victorian Government's website. Obviously our researcher forgot to put her settings into global and she went to the Australian Google, but forgive her that. But anyway, she came up with another horrible one. 7 Ps, and gosh, this kills me. 7 Ps described as tactics. These are not tactics, these are strategy. Tactics are things you do to the buyer. Anyhow, it's a useless article, don't worry. Next, the third article that we found from Mars. Look, it was, just what we need. More Ps and now 4 Cs. So we've got 4 Ps and 4 Cs because the 4 Ps weren't really. Getting sucked into acronym hell is it's just silly. It's just silly. So, sorry guys, 3 really wasted articles. Now, next one. It's blissfully brief, but it's also absent any unique insight. Hang on though, I've got one good one to show you and then some clear conclusions, so don't nick off just yet. All right, this is the most shared article. It was shared squillions of times actually. Facebook 2,100 times, LinkedIn 1,500 times, Twitter 2,600 times, so it shared lots. It's a great practical list of social media tactics to support your product launch. So I know we're looking for product marketing strategy, but I couldn't go past this list of tactics. They were excellent, and they came up when I Googled for product marketing strategy. An excellent set of quite concrete, disconnected, but you need to kind of tick all the boxes. So 10 discrete things that you need to do to take advantage of social media for the launch of your product marketing strategy. So good recommendations there. Okay, so what did we learn in that research? Pretty much they seem to be saying, how will you position your product or service's core attributes and how they differ from alternatives? What else goes into the solution to make a complete solution for the customer? How will you price it? How will you package and merchandise it? How will it be sold? Who's your target market? And that you should use social media to create buzz around your product launch. Genuinely, I found that a bit of a tick list and there was no real sequence and no real logic to that flow. Let me try, I'll do my best to argue the 6 questions you need to ask and 2 steps that you need to take to get your product market strategy right. Be really clear about what problem you're trying to solve, and secondly, who most has it. So now we're really clear we're trying to solve this problem for this market. And then the third very connected piece, how will you offer to solve that problem for that market better than anybody else? So we're starting with the buyer, what their problems are, and then we're moving into the product, which is how we're going to solve that problem better than anybody else. Next question. How mature is the market when they buy this product or category of service? Now, I'm not going to dive right now into Moore's chasm theory, but that's obviously where I'm heading, and the essence is, depending on how mature your market is, you want to have a deliberately incomplete or a deliberately complete or a deliberately bundled or a deliberately unbundled product, and you can't have the wrong answer to that question. You need to know how mature the market is and therefore the way they want to consume that product or service. Next, what's your profit strategy? Again, I'm not going to go into Porter's, not the 5 forces, but his differentiation and cost leadership strategy. It's an excellent piece. I will link to an article that I did eons ago that you might find useful. But what is your profit strategy? And I'll show you why that ties in together in a sec. And finally, how are you trying to position your brand with that market? Now, when you've got those 6 questions answered, some of them are kind of serial, 1, 2 and 3 certainly are, 4, 5 and 6 not so much. Then you need to, I'm going to go word for word here, build, price and articulate a stunningly good solution to that problem that reflects how the market wants this problem to be solved. What I mean by that again is complete, incomplete, high price, low price. That's what the market maturity gives you. Guided by your profit strategy. What do I mean by that? If you're trying to take a cost leadership position, then don't build a solution that costs $1 million. If you're making a differentiated solution, don't make a lookalike product. That's where I'm going with the profit strategy and your positioning strategy. So that's now your product is right. Then you need to build a cracking set of tactics to take it to market. Not just positioning, which is where the social media tactics were great, but to get the market troubled about the problem, clear about what they need, and excited about how well you meet that need better than anybody else. So that last little piece was obviously setting up that we need tactics all the way through the buyer's journey, not just for one part of it. Clearly, if you're using Funnel Plan, it's going to force you to answer those questions. What problem are you solving? Who has it? What does my solution look like? But now you've got a way to think about the answer to all of those questions. And it's going to ask you to find tactics for each stage in the buyer's journey. If you don't have a funnel plan just yet, you can get a free one at funnelplan.com. Here's the link, funnelplan.com. Go there and grab a free funnel plan, or if you really want to go deep, analyse really completely, build a complete solution and get loads of coaching, then you might want to take one of the paid options. Either way, check out funnelplan.com to build your clear plan. Look, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun putting together today's show. I hope you got some value out of it. Again, I had a lot of fun doing it. Lots more for next week. Until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing. Our thanks this week to Veal & Fiona for her research, to our 5 contributors, Small Business, Business Department of Victorian Government, Mars, Rick Suttle and HBR for their 5 articles. There's a link in the show notes to the article I did eons ago. It's a video on how to earn more profit than your competitors, and that's basically a reference to Jeffrey Moore's, to Michael Porter's profit strategies. To Annika Dobby for her amazing production. My name's Hugh McFarlane, and it was my absolute pleasure to script and present this week's show.